It is Friday, March 28th, and Elon Musk and DOGE releasing their latest update last night, showing big progress in shrinking federal spending, shrinking the size of government, and we have the receipts to prove it. We're going to show you also Jon Stewart releasing the single greatest DOGE ad, DOGE endorsement you'll ever see, releasing it accidentally during his interview with liberal Ezra Klein this week. Wait till you see this, and more stories as well from around the country. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. So in June 2021, Joe Biden appointed Kamala Harris to be the broadband czar, just as he did with the border, making her the border czar. Her job to stop illegal immigration at the southern border. Instead, illegal crossings swelled to their highest level on record. Over 10 plus million illegals entering the country under border czar Harris's reign. Well, likewise, in June 2021, Joe Biden appointing Kamala again as the broadband czar. Yes, that really happened. The Democrats appropriating $42 billion in tax money to bring high-speed broadband internet to rural communities under the BEAD program. Well, 4 years later, guess how many people receive broadband internet from this program? Zero. A total of 0 people. $42 billion down the tubes. A giant sweeping disaster. And there's a trend here with Democrats. We saw the same thing happen in California with Newsom's high-speed rail. Remember that? $16 billion for high-speed rail. 6 years later, what do we have? 200 meters of steel framing in the Central Valley, just sitting there, useless, an eyesore. They fail over and over again because of over-regulation, bloated government getting in the way, telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, to the point that nothing ever gets done. Something Elon and DOGE are trying to fix, downsizing the beast that is our federal government. Well, yesterday, Jon Stewart, a frequent critic of DOGE and of Elon, interviewing liberal Ezra Klein about this broadband disaster, about why it failed, how in the world did the Biden administration muck this up so badly. They passed the bill. They approved the funding in 2021. The hard part was done. All they had to do was build it. Democrats promising Americans broadband for their $42 billion, and they had 4 years to deliver it, and they failed. Well, Jon Stewart and Ezra Klein explain how that happened, and in the process end up delivering the single greatest DOGE ad endorsement you'll ever see, doing so organically without meaning to. This is great. Watch.
Wait, who's challenging it within the state?
Well, organized interest groups, environmental group, I don't know who specifically, but literally anybody. This is, right. I want to say something because it's very important I say this. This is the Biden administration's process for its own bill. They wanted this to happen. This is how liberal government works now.
This is something they instituted for this bill.
For their bill. This is a bill passed by Democrats with a regulatory structure written by Democratic administration. Okay.
Right.
Step 11. The NTIA must review and improve the challenge results and the final map. So the NTIA has put forward a map. The states have challenged that map. Then the states have put forward their maps, had other challenges. And now the NTIA must review and approve the challenges to the state maps. Okay. So we've done step 11, NTIA must review and approve challenge results and final map. We've lost 9 of the applicants at that point. Step 12, states must run a competitive sub-granting process.
Oh my fucking God. At step 12, after all this has been done.
Yeah, none of that could have happened along the way here. We have now lost 17 more applicants. So now 30 of 56 have completed step 12. Step 13, states must submit a final proposal. All the proposals weren't enough to NTIA. Now that goes to 3 of 56. So we've gone in the last couple steps from 56 had gone to this point to 3 of 56. Step 14, the NTIA must review and approve the state's final proposal. And that is 3 of the 56 jurisdictions and states are there. In summary, states are nearly at the finish line. And it says to stop their progress now, or worse, to make them go backwards, would be a stick in the spokes of the most promising broadband deployment plans we have ever seen. End scene.
I'm speechless, Ezra. Honestly, it's far worse than I could have imagined. But the fact that they amputated their own legs on this is what's so stunning.
That's the definition of big government run amok. Big government, big bureaucracy getting in the way. It's why the federal government should be as small as feasibly possible. Deliver the necessary essential services, deliver them well, and nothing more. That is what DOGE is working on, and last night releasing their latest official update, which we're going to watch together. But before we do, a quick word from our friends over at Lear Capital. Euphoria has officially set in as Trump strives to make America great again. Don't get me wrong, I have high hopes for Trump and the United States, but he has a huge job ahead. The last administration left us a legacy of unbelievable inflation and debt so big that interest alone on our debt is $1 trillion a year. Think about that. It's going to take a lot of digging to get us out of this hole. While inflation has destroyed purchasing power, gold has been my safety net. I personally experienced the benefits of owning gold. That's why I partnered with Lear Capital. They specialize in helping people like me and you protect and grow our hard-earned savings and retirement accounts with gold. Did you know during Trump's last presidency, gold rose 65% to a record high? If it happens again, that puts gold at $4,200 an ounce in Trump's next term. I recommend you call Lear today at 800-885-2175 or go to learrj.com for your free gold investor kit and special report. $4,200 gold could be ahead. Lear is an education-first company. There's no pressure to buy, just free information to see if gold is right for you. Lear has 27 years experience, thousands of five-star reviews, $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. So you don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. That's why I trust Lear, and you can too. So call 800-885-2175 or go to learrj.com. Ask how you can also get up to $15,000 in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase. Call 800-885-2175 or go to learrj.com. You'll be glad you did. Elon and his top DOGE employees updating the public last night on what they've accomplished so far and answering questions separate from their doge.gov website, which everybody can go to and see for themselves. You can go there right now and you could see how much they've cut, what they're doing, each individual contract and expense that they've eliminated. As of this morning, the total money saved reaching over $130 billion, equating to $807 per U.S. taxpayer saved. And it's been 2 months. That's pretty good for 2 months. You could see the breakdown of where that $130 bill is coming from under their wall of receipts and see each of the programs and contracts that they've canceled. You could zoom in to see the contract details, like this $1.9 billion contract awarded by Biden's Treasury Department, or all the other contracts that they've canceled this week alone. Over 7,300 contracts canceled, $22 billion saved in canceled contracts so far, $32 billion saved in canceled grants, around $400 million saved in canceled leases. That's property leases that weren't being used, but we were paying for month after month after month. This is, by the way, the first government website I've been on in my life that actually works. Their goal is to cut $1 trillion from the federal deficit by September, in just 3 months. And Trump, by the way, campaigned on the promise not to reduce U.S. entitlements, which means they need to find $1 trillion in only waste and inefficiencies. That's it. If they accomplish that, it would be an incredible achievement. It would be a service to this country, confirming during the interview last night that per Donald Trump, entitlements are off the table. They cannot touch entitlements. Watch.
And they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
I want to emphasize that point and let the record show that I said this, and it will be proven out to be true.
So the $130 billion that they've saved thus far is from wasteful contracts, grants, and from leases that were canceled. But the bulk of DOGE savings we haven't realized yet. It's not in this $130 billion figure, which is downsizing the federal workforce. As of January 20th, there were over 2.2 million federal workers. So when Trump took office, there were 2.2 million people that were employed by the federal government. DOGE, so far, has cut 80,000 federal workers. Around 80,000 federal workers have already accepted buyouts, resigning now, but staying on payroll until September. So we're not seeing the savings yet, but we know it's happening because it's reflected in February's labor data, showing government job losses spiking by 62,000 last month, the largest jump on record. DOGE also targeting another 220,000 probationary employees by September. That would make 300,000 total federal workers cut from the workforce in just the first 6 months of Trump's administration. That's downsizing. Last night, Elon bringing a group of his top DOGE employees to do a panel with Bret Baier from Fox. One of them, it turns out, is the co-founder of Airbnb. I don't think anyone knew that. I didn't know that. I mean, we have some top talent working on this problem. Watch some of this.
They told me something about a mine that was dealt with retirement, and they said they needed somebody to help out to fix retirement in the government. I love the challenge, so I jumped on board, and it turns out there is actually a mine in Pennsylvania that houses every paper document for the retirement process in the government. Now picture this. This giant cave has 22,000 filing cabinets, stacked 10 high to house 400 million pieces of paper. It's a process that started in the 1950s and largely hasn't changed in the last 70 years. And so as he dug into it, we found retirement cases that had so much paper, they had to fit it on a shipping pallet. So the process takes many months, and we're going to make it just many days.
Will it be digitized, or how?
Absolutely. So this will be an online digital process that will take just a few days at most. And I really think, it's an injustice to civil servants who are subjected to these processes that are older than the age of half the people watching your show tonight. So we really believe that the government can have an Apple Store-like experience, beautifully designed, great user experience, modern systems.
In another story, Tim Walz continuing his rally tour, speaking on behalf of the Democratic Party last night, telling his rally goers that his party, the Democrats, are losing elections not because they're too far to the left, but instead because they're not left enough. Saying in order to win the midterms and to win the presidency in 2028, Dems must push harder, he says. Push harder in favor of DEI, harder in favor of wokeism, and in favor of, get this, allowing illegal immigration. Yes, he really said that. You can't make this up. Roll the tape.
That our strength is our diversity. We've been talking about this for years as a country of immigrants, and we let them define the issue on immigration. We let them define the issue on DEI, and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them. And so
this is now the third blunder Tim Walz made in the last week. First, it was cheering on the destruction of Tesla. Then it was threatening to beat up Trump supporters. Now this. I hope this guy runs for president. Please do us that favor, Tim. In another story, Pam Bondi saying the DOJ will not be entering into a plea deal with the Las Vegas Tesla firebomber, telling Laura Ingraham last night her office is seeking 20 years in prison. They are setting off explosions, huge, massive fires in residential neighborhoods. They better cut it out because we're coming after you. And at my direction, there will be no negotiating with these people. Watch this.
Minimum mandatory to 20 years in prison. And this was great police work. This guy thought he got away with it. So these people better look out. They better cut it out because we are coming after you. And at my direction, there will be no negotiating on these people.
No plea
deals. We are
deals.
seeking 20 years in prison. They are setting off bombs, the huge fires. Look what you're seeing. Huge, massive fires in residential neighborhoods.
Someone's going to get killed.
Charging stations. Someone is going to get killed. A citizen is going to get killed. And these people, we are not doing any plea negotiations on them.
Well,
so they better cut it out.
We have.
Let me know in the comments if you think 20 years is too long a punishment for this, or if it's not long enough. Let me know your thoughts. One thing's for sure, the propagandists, the media who's fueling this Tesla rage, are ruining these people's lives. Imagine you're some 20-something-year-old liberal and you're told over and over again on MSNBC that protesting Tesla is righteous. It's the right thing to do. Next thing you know, you end up being this guy. Let this be a warning to anyone thinking about vandalizing or attacking a Tesla. Don't do it. It's not worth it. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.